Okay, now beginning with the term domestic water supply. So along with the time, the progress is going on, and our target should be that all of the households, all the domestic area, they should be having access to clean water. Clean water, we also consider, or the desirable condition is the drinkable water. Okay, currently the government of India has also launched a scheme, Jal Jeevan Mission. That is also aiming to connect all of the sectors, all the domestic areas, and specifically the rural areas, in the remote areas, in the villages, whole across the nation. They should be having an access. The households should be having an access to clean drinking water. Okay, and as per the latest updates, within the last 2 years, since when this scheme was launched, Jal Jeevan Mission, about 1 lakh villages, they have received this tap water supply, means piped water supply. So this is as per the 10th monthly report. Okay, there are about 78 million households in the rural sectors. Okay, and every household in over 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh villages, they are getting a tap water supply. Okay, so the aim, that is that the pipe water supply that should be available to every individual all across the nation, and this is the initiative which the government has taken. And near about in August 2019, this scheme was launched. So this is something which is our local factor. So and it is good that we are progressing in this field. And why? What are the advantages? Okay, so we will be discussing these advantages, that why this matters, that we are assessing these reports that in the last 2 years, at least 1 lakh villages across the whole country, they have been provided with clean tap water. So why do we need it? What are the advantages? Okay, so first of all, what do we need here? We need the source of water, and water should be clean. Okay, then proper infrastructure should be available so that the water is available to the households. And how much is it is important, we can have an idea that about 6-7 years ago in the Delhi elections, this was one of the main point which made the government, the present government there in the Delhi, this was one of the main agenda, that they will provide free water, drinking water to every citizen there in the state, in the Delhi. And this was a game changer. Heavy support, public gave a huge support to that CM candidate. So we can have an idea that how important it is. Domestic water supply, affordable water supply, means the price should also not also be so high. If we are providing clean water but the cost is too high, then that will also not serve the purpose, specifically in our present scenario when a huge population is not having that much of financial resources. So this is one of the basic needs which every citizen should be given by the government, by the administration. So clean water, sanitation system, electricity, they are the basic needs. Okay, so although it can take different forms like a stream, spring, hand dug well, borehole with a hand pump, Okay, rainwater collection system. I will cover it and give you some details that what are the advantages of this. Okay, and the last is a piped water supply with tap stand or house connection. Okay, or water vendors. So although we see that there are different types or the different forms of domestic water supply which are available through which we can make this water available to the households. But our desirable condition is the last one, a piped water supply with tap, a tap stand or a house connection. Means every household should be having their own tap connection. That is a measure of the basic amenities which are available to every citizen, that every household is having this. Every household should be having electricity supply. Every household should be having proper sanitation system. Okay, now let me cover some of these the main tasks, that why every household needs. Although it doesn't mean that industrial sectors don't need this water supply, they also need. Okay, the commercial area, there also we need. In the housing societies, the residential area and the housing societies, there also this is a basic need, water supply. Just imagine if a housing society is built somewhere and the water supply that is not a proper. Okay, maybe sometime water is available, sometime it is not available, then that will create a huge discomfort for the residents. And correspondingly, there will be other consequences. Price of that value of that society, that will fall down. Then the builder has to suffer, who built the society. He won't be able to sell the flats. Okay, so from every point of view, not only from the consumer comfort or the right of the basic needs, there are other factors like the economical profit, the commercial sectors. So all of the commercial areas like the shopping malls, like some park, amusement park or everywhere, there should be a proper domestic water supply. Even the tourist spots as well, where there is a gathering, huge gathering is there. There should be water supply should be available there, and clean, drinkable water supply. Okay, now considering the household sector, our priority is the household sector because other establishments, commercial establishments, they are having the water supply or the clean water supply, drinkable water supply. So mostly the challenge is from the domestic point of view, the common households, that whether same facilities are available to each and every individual. So what our aim should be, that yes, it should be made available to every locality, small or big, maybe for lower income group or for high income group. Well, high income group, they will be having these type of facilities. Our target or the challenge is basically from the low income group localities. There everything should be made available at a less cost. Okay, so proper infrastructure should be developed, and then ample supply of the water, that should be ensured. Maybe we laid down the pipes and taps and everything is arranged, but we are not having that much supply of water. Okay, one more thing which is equally important, that is a proper use of water. Although it is not only for the water, it is for electricity as well, but currently we are considering only the water, the proper use of water. Many people here across our nation, they're not having the access of the water. Okay, and also there is a huge imbalance, like during the rains. There is a situation, a flood-like situation we are seeing in many areas. Okay, and when during the summers, peak summers, then we are facing this problem of water scarcity. Then what is not available, then in some areas after rainy season starts, then there is a too much of water. So what should we insist on? What should we focus on? On the storage. Okay, at least we cannot manage to store a huge amount of water, but at least we should be dealing with the proper utilization. Clean water, that is not easily available. Rainwater is not drinkable. We have to process it. We have to purify it. Then only it is drinkable. Okay, so for other some applications, we can use rainwater. For the agriculture purpose, we can use. Okay, like the gardens, lawns are there, parks are there. We can use this rainwater. But for the drinking, domestic purposes, okay, some of the purpose like including drinking, cooking, washing hands, washing body, clothes, cleaning utensils, cleaning the house, then watering animals. Okay, irrigating the garden, okay, that could we can consider rainwater also suitable for that. Okay, and some other commercial activities. So every household should be having an ample supply of water. And when there is a scarcity of water, then proper provision should be there. That water is not wasted, it is not overused. So whosoever the area, maybe it is some village, maybe it is some locality, maybe it is any housing society, whoever is good is dealing with this usage, proper usage of water efficiently. He's managing the usage, consumption of water. That area does not suffer from the scarcity of water. At least not in our country. Because water is available, but in case, let me give you a practical example of near about 5 or 6 years ago. That time the rainfall, that was shortage of rainfall situation, less rainfall. So some areas, they face the problem of water scarcity. For the agriculture purposes, water supply was limited, and some of the crops, they need a high amount of water. The paddy, rice crops, they need a huge amount of water. Also the grains, they require more water. Okay, also the people, they are used to consume water more than which is needed. Although that is also okay, if they are using more water in cleaning, that is okay. Okay, but when the whole water is available in much amount, in high amount, then it is being overused, it is wasted. Although it should not be wasted, but if still it is wasted, then even though people won't suffer. But when there is a scarcity of water, less amount of water, or the limited amount of water is available, still if they are doing the same thing, then that will create problem not only for the individual person, for the whole locality, for others as well. So many areas were there who were facing problems due to limited water supply, water scarcity. The situation was about 5 to 6 years ago, when there was a less rain. So that time, what I am giving the practical example, but some areas they managed. They consumed the water very efficiently. So some of the success stories were shared with other people, that in that village there is no such problem like the water scarcity, or the people are not suffering for, because of that. So they adopted different methods. In a village, people changed their plantation, the crops. Like the grain crops, they are consuming more water. They planted vegetables or other crops which are consuming less water. So in this way, they managed the whole village. They managed the water scarcity. They didn't suffer. In some village, water ATMs were made. Like the less amount of water, the limited amount of water was given to each household. They were given the cards, and every day only the limited amount of water was given to each household, just sufficient to fulfill their basic needs, not more than that. So they survived. Otherwise, other village, they suffered the season, drought season like situations. Okay, so this is also one of the most important factor. That is why you will find that everywhere awareness programs are conducted. That people, the population, the masses, they are being educated. Awareness is created amongst them. That situation is not like that. Don't waste water. Okay, but some people follow When they get aware, they follow these measures. But it is not the same with everyone. Every person is not bothering. Whatever is going on, some people don't bother, some are careless. Okay, maybe different reasons. But proper management from the administration, that is an important part. So we can consider that this is a two-way approach. From the administration side, from the management side as well, and along with that from the consumer side as well. Both of them have to contribute as per their capacity, their capability, their needs. They should contribute to such type of situations. Like the water scarcity is there, then they should, every consumer, they should also contribute in water saving, the efficient water usage. Okay, so different sources of water may be used for different activities, and the water sources available may change with the seasons. Yes, this we have mostly seen during summers. The water availability, that is very less as compared with the rainy or the winter season. Consumption is high. Okay, so there is always some kind of water source present where people live. Okay, or we can consider it the opposite side, that people usually live where their water supply is available. When water supply is not available at some area, some region, then very hardly you will find people living nearby. Why? Because you cannot survive. You cannot survive without water. Like the earlier civilizations, if you also see that, the history, all of the civilizations are there. So all of the civilizations were near a river, like Indus Valley civilization, yeah, like the Egyptian civilization. So there were rivers. Yeah, because without water, survival is impossible. Even there is one study or some data by some medical experts that without food and without water, how much time a person can survive, a human body can survive. Then without food, even 1 week, human body can survive. But without water, even 1 day survival, that is very difficult, almost impossible. Okay, so if the source that is inadequate, okay, or it is far away, like all the nearby areas, they have been occupied. Nearby areas of a water source, they are already occupied by residents, and now more area is needed that is far away from the water source. Okay, so the reaching that water source, that may be difficult, that may be unsafe. Okay, or it may not be adequate. It is having less water. Okay, so almost it is inaccessible or unavailable. So the water that is of poor quality. So now let us considering some of the characteristics related with water availability. Okay, yes, one reason here is that water availability, the quantity of water available, that plays a more important role than the quality of water. But at least for the drinking purpose, it is highly desirable that the water should be that the water should be clean. It should be drinkable. Basically, clean we mean drinkable. Okay, so now coming to the water availability point of view. Okay, so whether water is available, okay, or accessible to people depends on time, energy, and money. Okay, so three main considerations. So now time, energy, money. Now different class earning groups, categories of people, they have different uh, criteria. Means they have some of these availabilities they lack in some other point. Like time and energy they may be having, the lower income group, but the money they won't be having. Okay, so the time usually for the high income group, the time and energy, this factor is not as easily available as the low income group. But in the money sector, as per the financial reasons, they are having sufficient amount of money they are having, so they can make their arrangements. Okay, now coming to the one of the point, that is hand pump. Not very common nowadays in the urban sector, but in the rural sector it is much common, and it is having good usage. So water from hand pump, that is 25 meters, at a distance of 25 meters, but it is always having long queue. Okay, much common scenario in the societies or the localities of low income group sections, that one hand pump is there, and whole of the locality everyone depends on that single hand pump. So there it will be having a long queue, especially during the morning hours. Okay, like the gents population, they have to go for work before that, and the children are there, they have to go for a school or education or something like that. So in the morning there will be a long queue. Okay, so it is as inaccessible as water from a river which is 1.5 kilometer away. So 25 meters and 1.5 kilometer away. Okay, this much of the difference is there. So long queues, that will also create a big problem. Okay, another thing, the safety problems. Okay, such as the mines or hostile population near the water, that may also limit the accessibility. Okay, now another issues considering except the health, if the water availability is poor, okay, people will lose time. And usually what is the scenario, that men folk, they are gents, the population, they are going out for work, and the women, they are in the household, they are making the arrangements for water. Okay, so people will lose time, energy or money. Okay, so if proper amount of water available, sufficient amount of water is available, then they can utilize the time, money, energy in any other purpose. Okay, if the supply is limited, people will have to be selective about what they use water for. So here we can consider that the needs or the task which have to be done from water, that could be classified like as the necessity, that this task is necessity. Drinking, that is necessity. Body cleaning, hand washing, that is also necessity. Okay, then some moderate task, they could be done with less amount of water also. So that is like a moderate task. And then some tasks are there which can be avoided. The water usage that can be avoided in some other type of task. Outdoor cleaning, not necessarily water is needed for that. Other options are also available for cleaning outdoor. Okay, so implications of poor water availability. Okay, so poor water availability, it is affecting increased health risk, which often results in poor health. means proper hygiene, cleaning, body cleaning, hand washing. If these activities are not performed because of lack of water, okay, then health risk. Okay, the health conditions, they are being compromised. Okay, so it results in poor health. Another thing, food and money generating activities are compromised. Means the people, they have to spend their time, their money, or maybe their energy in arranging water, sufficient amount of water needed. So they are compromising. Otherwise, they could have done some other task, other jobs, but they are not able to do that because they have to make the arrangements for this water. So food and money generating activities, they are being compromised. Another thing, obtaining water asks for high input of time, energy, or money. Okay, so these factors again contribute to lead to poverty. So means if poverty has to be overcome, then water supply, proper, sufficient, ample amount of water, that should be available with the population, with the masses. Okay, so here's the explanation where the water availability, that is insufficient. An effort should be made to improve the supply. Okay, so it is important to ensure that making more water available to some does not take it away from the others. Okay, this is some of the very high controversial areas, even at a big level as well, that from where you are taking the water, others are also dependent on the same source. Then if one is taking more, then other will have to suffer. And indirectly we can see the conflicts between different states, between different countries as well. Recently we saw that there was a shortage of water in Delhi, and Delhi government is blaming on Haryana government that they are giving less water through their agreement, the water agreement. They are giving less water. Similar case some years ago came up with India and Pakistan, the Indus River water agreement. They are claiming that Pakistan is saying that India is giving less water. As per that, India has proved that no, it is not like that. They are already getting more water as per their agreement. Similar situation came long time ago in Gujarat. There is a Sardar Sarovar Dam project, and it is credited, this same project that is being credited with the removal of water scarcity in a huge area in Saurashtra and Kutch areas in Gujarat. Earlier time, prior to that building or installing of this dam, before that dam became functional, this Sardar Sarovar Dam, there was a huge area. They were just barren lands. Farming was not possible. Water supply was not sufficient. So a huge population was suffering. And this project was initiated by our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, and it was inaugurated by Narendra Modi, that time the CM of Gujarat. So it took such a long time to complete. Because from where the water has to be taken off, what are the effects of building the dam? Other states have to suffer. So many reasons were there. Some others were opposing. Environmental activists, they were opposing. So many restrictions were there. So it is a big factor that from where we are taking the water. So other different states are fighting with each other that this much of is a sanctioned amount of our water and you are taking more than that. And so there are many such reasons that if other has to suffer, then there will always be a conflict. Okay, so if a limited number of water sources available, the areas around the sources may become degraded if too many people or animal use them. Yeah, so this is the same situation like the rising number and the limited resources. The resources, they are limited, and if the number are rising, then there will be conflicts. Okay, if unsustainable amount of water are extracted, the environment may become degraded. through falling groundwater levels or surface water sources such as rivers or streams may dry up. So this is a very common case here in our NCR which we are facing. In the Gurugram area, in the NCR here in Haryana, there also we are facing such a similar type of situation. Also one such situation we faced during this harvesting season. Like the paddy, the rice crop or the paddy crops, they were being harvested. And they need a huge amount of water. So the bore wells, the pumps, they were tube wells, they were installed. And the groundwater that was used for this agriculture purpose, irrigation purpose. So this depleted the groundwater resources, water level start getting down. And this is most common in case of Punjab and Haryana. In the eastern area, there is okay, water supply is okay. But in this area, the groundwater that was getting down. So the government made some rules, like prior to the rainy season, farmers were not allowed to harvest this paddy crops. So after the rain season, like as of the situation today, the season going on, in this season they can have the water supply during this monsoon or the rainy season. That is one of the main reasons that why we are this Delhi NCR, they are suffering the problem of stubble burning. The smoke is gathering here in this area. Yeah, because that crop is finally that is being harvested in that time in the winters, and just to free the farms, it is being fired on. The combustion that is taking place there, they're putting on fire so as to clear the farm. That is okay, they are not having any other option. But proper management is needed. Well, okay, that is another topic. But the falling groundwater level, that we have to take care of. Otherwise, a big problem is waiting if the water level goes down. So now currently the government, so the areas where groundwater is getting down, the government is taking many initiatives so as to reduce the consumption of water in that areas. Like some time ago, the government announced a subsidy or some cash initiatives to the farmers, those who are harvesting or those who are planting the crops which require less water. So that was just an initiative so as to don't let the water level go down, underground water level or the water table. It should be sustained. It should be same. Okay, yeah, one more factor. Be careful to ensure that short-term gains do not result in long-term losses. Like something which we are gaining right now, but in the future we have to suffer for that. Now, health point of view, water availability and disease transmission. That why drinkable water is needed. So poor personal hygiene favors disease transmission. Means if proper hygiene is not maintained, then this is a big carrier of diseases. In such areas, diseases travel very fast. The transmission of many infections can be prevented by washing hands, by washing body and clothes. Even in such a situation, in the pandemic situation also, the health workers everywhere they are advising that frequently wash your hands. That is the same reason to stop the disease transmission. Okay, so such type of infections, they are called as water washed diseases. So we can prevent by washing hands, washing body, washing clothes. So we can prevent the spread of water washed diseases. Okay, so people need access to enough water to be available to maintain good personal hygiene. So that's why it is a basic need. Even in the tenants law, in our constitution, the laws of the tenant, this is also one of the basic needs. he should be having a proper access to water. Okay, although good access to water does not automatically result in good personal hygiene. Okay, there are other factors as well which spread diseases. But if water availability is not there, then definitely diseases are going to spread. Okay, so once there is enough water, health and hygiene promotion will often be needed to improve personal hygiene practices. Here also, the citizens' awareness, that is also needed. So availability, that is from the administration point of view, that they should make proper or the sufficient amount of water available to the citizens. Whereas from the citizen point of view, they should also, first of all, they should not waste this clean water. Another thing, they should also maintain proper hygiene so as to avoid the spreading of diseases. So points under this: hand washing. Why it is needed? Because contaminated hands, they can carry pathogens. Okay, from hands they can enter our body. So hands contaminated with fecal matter can transmit fecal oral pathogen to food, water, or directly to the mouth. Okay, hands are not clean, then the person is eating food from dirty hands, so the contamination that will enter his body, the pathogens, they will enter his body through the food, mixed with food, they will enter through his mouth, they will enter the body, and then diseases, they will start spreading. The soil transmitted helminths that cause a roundworm infection. Okay, some type of pathogens or the disease causing organisms. Okay, roundworm. Okay, trichuraceus. Okay, some type of these pathogens which can be avoided. Okay, so hands contaminated with the discharge from the eyes of people suffering from conjunctivitis. Okay, or the contagious liquid from pupils of the people with jaws. Okay, some of the disease means a person, a patient who is already contaminated with disease, and if another person comes in contact, it touches the person, physical contact is there, so the another person will also is at a risk of having that infection in his body as well. So washing hands after every contact with such a infected person, that has become a priority from the health safety point of view. So this is much more common with the people who are either medical workers, healthcare workers, or another one who is taking care, who is nursing such type of patient, who is already having an infection, who is already contaminated, disease has already entered his body. So any healthcare worker or any other person who is nursing him, taking care of that such type of person, they are on the risk of having the same infection, having the same contamination in their body as well. Okay, so every time when a person comes in contact with a contaminated person, with an infected person, he should wash his hands. Okay, another thing, before having food, washing hand, that is also needed so as to avoid the spread of infection, avoid the spread of contamination. The transmission of trachoma can often be prevented by washing hands after touching person's face or after handling material used to wipe the patient's eyes or face. Okay, much more specific for a person who is nursing a patient. Okay, so everywhere we can see that washing hands is preventing many type of infections. Okay, so washing hands remove the pathogens as well as the dirt containing the protecting the pathogens. Okay, so pathogens they are there, then the dirt on the hands, they are protecting the pathogens, so both of them, they will be washed away. Okay, so how effective washing is dependent on that how the hands are being rubbed, not like just like that very short rubbing of hands, and that is sufficient, or either through the water. Okay, so hand washing or the soap, yeah, the quality of the soap, that is also one of the consideration. Usually what people consider that which soap is good. Okay, so one point is that at least for 20 seconds, which the government is already giving us a guidance, giving the guidelines that wash your hands for 20 seconds with a good quality soap. So what does that mean, a good quality soap? That is TFM. So TFM, total foam matter. This is what determines the quality of a soap. And it is not much common with other citizens. Very few people know about this, although it has to be specified by the manufacturer. Let me share some data related to that. Mostly what people think, let me share my screen. Oh, sorry, it is total fatty matter, not total foam matter. So how do we determine that which soap will clean more? So it is by the content, the TFM content. TFM. Let me zoom it. Total fatty matter. Okay, so two type of soap are available in the market: toilet soap and bathing bar. So how do we distinguish between them? Toilet soap contains higher quantity of fatty material, from 60 to 80%. Okay, bathing bars have less TFM, about 40%. Okay, so both have their own advantages and disadvantages. So when every type of soap, always it is mentioned that what is the value of TFM. So a higher TFM, that indicates the higher cleaning. Okay, on the other hand, the bathing bar contains acceptable surface agents that can be used for bathing purposes. So in addition to surfactants and perfume, they also contain processing acid, coloring matter, permitted antioxidants, preservatives, so different type of these additives which are there in the bathing bar. So mostly higher TFM is available in toilet soap. Bathing bars, their TFM is less. It won't be even mentioned there on the bathing bar. So here you can see Mesor Sandal, this soap. It is having a high value of this TFM. Let me bring down if this one, more than 75%. So Mesor Sandal soap, this is having more than 75% TFM. Synthol, that is having. One soap is not mentioned here. It is number one, Godrej number one soap. That is also having a TFM of more than 75%. So From cleaning point of view, you can see that they are better. Okay, so here you can see that Lux, it is having a less TFM as compared with Meso Sandal soap. But if you will see the customer base, then more people will be preferring for Lux. So that is a psychological effect due to advertising. Okay, when advertising is more there, more celebrities they are promoting these products. So the Margot and Lux. So this indicates that more people will prefer for that. But from TFM point of view, these soaps are better. The higher the TFM value. Here we can see Lifebuoy. It is having about 60% or the minimum TFM value. So, but it is having a very huge customer base. This Lifebuoy soap, as compared with other type of other soaps available in the market, this Lifebuoy is one of the highest selling products in India. But from this TFM point of view, it is not good. Means the cleaning property, you can consider the cleaning property, that will be less. Yeah, so 87, that is Meso Sandal. Then Synthol, it is having 83. So score out of 100 means considering that they are better. Okay, well, any type of this. Yeah, here it is mentioned TFM. So Meso Sandal is having 80% TFM value. Synthol 79. Superior, okay, Bark Avenue, yes, number 1. It is having 76%. Means above 75. So grade 1 soap you can consider it. Then on grade 2, Vivel, Margot, Lux. Then Hamam, Medimix, Lifebuoy. So they're in grade 3. Means TFM value that is less. Below 60, then that won't be a toilet soap. That would be considered as a bathing bar. Okay, so let me come back to the topic here for water supply. So at least 10 seconds. In the current scenario, in the present situation, 20 seconds. Hand washing needed at least for 20 seconds. Okay, now hygiene of body and clothes. So several pathogens can be transmitted through infectious skin or contaminated clothes. That is why it is always emphasized that wash your clothes. Don't you wear dirty clothes. That is why instructions are given. Because it is spreading diseases. If a person is compromising with the hygiene, it means he is compromising with the health. So certain vectors of diseases, they are living on the clothes. Or prefer people with a poor personal hygiene. Because if proper hygiene is maintained, then they won't survive. Pathogens, they won't survive. But if a hygiene that is compromised, then this will give a better access to pathogens. All infections that spread by direct contact can be transmitted via direct person-to-person contact through contaminated skin or clothes. Means the whole body and the clothes, they should be clean. Okay, so here some of the pathogens here, some diseases, conjunctivitis, trachoma, they can be diseases, they can be transmitted through infected skin, clothes, or several other contaminated material that came in contact with infectious eye discharges. Okay, several other infections transmitted through direct contact affect the skin, and the pathogens can be spread simply through direct skin contact. Okay, so overall we get a conclusion that if the hygiene that is maintained, proper hygiene is maintained, then the chances of spreading of diseases, they are minimized. Different type of diseases. Okay, loose-borne typhus, fever, trench fever, fleas, so everything we can avoid. They can be avoided. Okay, the health impact of improved water availability. So some of the diseases are mentioned here, and the occurrence, that how many patients, that's an estimate is there. Okay, like the diarrhea. How to deal with that? Increase water availability. Okay, just a minute.